Remember when Jesus came to the pool of Bethsaida? Remember that? And there was a crippled person there for 38 years. And Jesus asked him, hey, do you want to get healed? And the guy said, yeah, but every time I go into the healing waters, because this pool, remember, had healing waters, it was believed. He said, every time I go into it was a natural spring pool, remember that? Every time I go into this pool, someone jumps in before me and gets the healing. In other words, they take my healing from me. Right? And what did Jesus say? Jesus asked him, do you want to get well? And he responds, but I have no one to help me in the pool. Everyone else goes ahead of me. Then Jesus responded to him. It's in John chapter 5. He says, get up. Pick up your mat and walk. Remember that? So from this passage, we can learn that Jesus asked the man if he wanted wholeness and peace. Now, some people rather play the victim and not get wholeness. Why would a person turn down wholeness? Fear. Yeah? Could it be that some people like the attention of being broken? They like the attention of being waited on. They like the attention of having people's pity. Yeah, being a victim. And Jesus, I love Jesus here because he didn't respond to the excuses. He kind of heard the excuses. And after this person gave Jesus all the excuses, he's all, get up. Get up. And he did. And so Jesus told him to act as if he were whole. See, remember I said earlier that if a physical fact can induce an emotional, psychological state, like of joy, peace, wholeness, it can induce a physical fact. We see it here because Jesus told him to act as if he was whole. When Jesus said, get up, what is Jesus saying? He's saying, act whole. Because you can be. Whew. Do you guys get this? Act as if you're whole in Christ, and you will be, because you are. You see that? Act as if you're whole in Christ, and you will be, because you are. Act as if you have peace in Christ, and you'll get peace, because you have it in Christ. You're just not tapping into it. So act as if you're experiencing it, and you will. That's not a gimmick, folks. That's not psychology. The Bible calls this faith. That's what faith does. It acts as if it's true, and it becomes true. Now you might be saying, but what about the time that you said, Pastor Mike, if I tithe, God will take care of me, and I tithe, I put my tithe check in for 2 weeks, and then boom, things got worse. Now, I've never had a person say that to me, but it could have happened. And I would say this: you gave up too early. Keep tithing, but don't tithe to get something. Tithe because it's right. And once you tithe because it's right consistently, day in, week out, and you tithe because you love God and you're worshiping Him, God will take care of you. But I think sometimes we do something to get something. That's not faith. That's a carnival. Hello? Right? That's a fortune teller. That's not faith. Faith does it because it's right, because it honors God, because it's worship unto Him. Does that make sense? So I would say, do what you know to do in the Bible, not to get something, but because you're just so in love with God, you're worshiping Him through obeying Him. And if you do that consistently, day in, day out, you will experience His peace. You will experience His blessings. You will experience His provisions. Everyone who's ever done it has and always will. The man walked in wholeness after he did what Jesus told him to do. And I would say this, you and I will walk in wholeness after we do the thing that Jesus has told us to do. If you do what he says to do, you'll be whole. If you don't do what Jesus says to do, you'll be broken. That's simple. Jesus tells his followers to go in peace because they are known by God and one with him. Jesus tells his followers to go in peace because they are heard by God and answered by him. There's so many promises that God gives us. Let's turn very quickly to Isaiah 26, because this is a great verse to memorize. If you have a hard time experiencing God's peace and his holiness, this is a great passage to memorize and to recite. Isaiah 26, 2-4, page 500. Open the gates that the righteous nation may enter, the nations that keep faith. You will keep in perfect peace him whose mind is steadfast because he trusts in the Lord. Trust in the Lord forever. The Lord is the rock eternal. Now, did you catch that? Okay, let's read this again because this is amazing. Isaiah is speaking to God. God, you will keep, verse 3, you will keep in perfect peace him whose mind is steadfast. The King James Version says is stayed on thee. Okay, so in other words, your mind is focused on God. So you will keep in perfect peace him whose mind is steadfast because he trusts in you. So what Isaiah is saying is, God will keep you in perfect peace if you keep your mind, heart, and soul focused on God. Hebrews, remember the writer of Hebrews? He said, fix your mind on who? Fix your thoughts on Jesus, the author and perfecter of your faith. So that's what the Bible's saying. It's saying if you want peace, just focus your thoughts on God. The Apostle Paul put it this way, think on these things, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is heavenly, whatever is praiseworthy. Think on these things. Hey, Pastor Don, you gave me a really great illustration this week. It came from your mother-in-law. Can you do us the honor of reading that for us? I have it right here. Yeah, Pastor Don's going to come up and read this closing illustration. And keep in mind, in the light of peace, this story really demonstrates for us that oftentimes we don't have peace because our thoughts are irrational and they're on other places. But once we think the right thoughts, oftentimes peace and wholeness will come. Now, this is a secular example. We don't know if these people are Christians or not, but it really demonstrates how our thoughts can either separate us from peace or our thoughts can help induce peace. So Pastor Don, please read this for us.